Saturday, September 2nd, 1939. The Wehrmacht High Command reports. On the afternoon of September 1st, the German troops successfully continued their advance on all fronts. This morning, the movements are progressing everywhere. The Jablonka Pass was quickly conquered. During the deployment of the Luftwaffe, numerous enemy aircraft were annihilated at the attacked and destroyed Polish airfields. Saturday, September 2nd, 1939. Evening. The actions of the German troops brought further rapid successes on all fronts. The group of forces deployed south of the Upper Silesian industrial area is approaching Biala and has taken Pless. To the north, a Polish bunker line was breached. North of the industrial area, our troops are approaching the Wartha. Tank units advance north of Czestochowa towards Radomsko. Wielun is taken. The detachments approaching over Kempen are moving quickly to Sieradz. The Pomeranian group of forces crossed the Brehe and in a powerful push reached the Vistula southwest of Graudenz. This means that the connection with the group from East Prussia heading towards Graudenz is almost established. The Polish army units in the northern corridor are cut off. The cleaning of the Tukeler Hide is underway. The attack from East Prussia to the south also gained ground. German troops are advancing on Brzosnyj. The German Air Force carried out lightning-fast and powerful strikes against military targets in Poland today. Numerous Polish aircraft were destroyed in air combat. On Earth, a large number of military air bases were attacked, especially at Gien, Krakow, Lodz, Radom, Demblin, Brest, Tiraspol, Lublin, Luk, Gotab, Warsaw-Kichi, Poznan-Lewica. The aircraft in the halls and on the tarmac burst into flames. Furthermore, tracks on the most important railway lines were destroyed, military transports were derailed, and marching columns on the retreat were bombed. The Skarżysko-Kamienna ammunition factory blew up after an attack. After today's successes, it is to be expected that the Polish Air Force has been hit hardest. The German Air Force has unrestricted air supremacy over the entire Polish area and is now available for further tasks to protect the Reich. In the morning, the naval forces in front of the Bay of Danzig shelled the fortifications on Hela and the Hela naval port. Marine aviation units attacked the Gijin naval port with bombs several times. Sunday, September 3rd, 1939. The Wehrmacht High Command reports. Yesterday afternoon and this morning, the attacks continued. German troops on all fronts successfully advanced deep into Polish territory. Czestochowa was taken. The Warth was crossed east of Wielun. An attempt by Polish troops cut off in the corridor to break through to the south was repulsed. Berendt is in German hands. After the decisive effect of yesterday's missions of the German Air Force, the divisions of the two air fleets deployed against Poland have full control of Polish airspace and are ready for action again in their launch ports. The units of the air fleets that have not yet been deployed are ready in their air bases as before. Monday, September 4th, 1939. The Wehrmacht High Command reports. From the troops advancing from Silesia and south, strong forces north of the High Tatras and south of the industrial area are pursuing the enemy retreating towards Krakow. To the east of Pless, the Vistula crossing was achieved. North of the industrial area, our troops follow the retreating enemy over the Koniopol-Kamiensk line and across the Warth northeast towards Wielun. In a sharp approach, they got within 20 kilometers of Sieradz. The Pomeranian group of forces reached the Vistula near Kulm with strong forces. The cutting off of the Polish forces in the northern corridor is now complete. The German attack against the Graudenz fortress penetrated the fort line in the northeast. The group of forces advancing from East Prussia took Prusnich. Polish cavalry that tried to invade German territory north of Treyburg was thrown back. During September 3rd, the German Air Force increasingly carried out attacks on important military transport facilities and larger troop transports. The repeated use of fighter and dive bombers contributed significantly to the rapid success of the troops advancing from Silesia. The railway connections Kutno-Warsaw, Krakow-Lemberg, Kielce-Warsaw, Thorn-Deutsch-Eylau were destroyed. Numerous train derailments, fires, and train explosions have been recorded. The Hohensalza train station is in ruins. In Oki near Warsaw, the aircraft factory there was badly damaged. the reserve aircraft provided there by the Poles were destroyed. In an air battle over Warsaw, 7 Polish aircraft and 1 Polish balloon were shot down without any casualties. The naval forces were also successful yesterday. Destroyers placed effective fire on the enemy ships lying in the Hela naval port. A Polish submarine was sunk off the Bay of Donsk. Air raids against Gdynia and Hela were renewed and caused the Polish destroyer Witcher to sink. The mine layer Grief was badly damaged. So far, no fighting in the west. Special report. The rapid approach of the German troops prevented the Pole from carrying out his intention, confirmed by prisoner statements, to hold the expanded Warta position. Ostrovo, Krotoszyn, and Lisa are in German hands. This morning, troops from the Reich reached East Prussian soil by land for the first time. Tuesday, September 5, 1939. The Wehrmacht High Command reports. On September 4th, the German Eastern Army broke enemy resistance on all fronts and continued to advance unstoppably. The enemy retreats in places in disarray and badly shaken. The number of prisoners and prey is increasing and cannot yet be overlooked. The 7th Polish Division was wiped out southeast of Częstochowa and the division headquarters captured. In the south, the pursuit continued towards Krakow in a hard push. The Skawa section was crossed near Wadowice, and Jaworzno was taken further north. The enemy hastily evacuates the Upper Silesian industrial area. At Sieradz, the crossing over the Warth was forced. In the north, the besieged Polish Corridor Army is trying to break the Iron Ring in desperate individual actions. Since yesterday, there have been increasing signs of the beginnings of recognition of the hopeless situation. The fortifications around Grodens were taken. The troops, which crossed the Vistula near and south of Kulm, under the eyes of the Führer and Supreme Commander, are making rapid advances on the eastern bank. At Amalba, the East Prussian troops took the city and its fortifications in tough hand-to-hand combat. The defeated enemy retreats to the south. The Navy carried out the security measures for the German coast as planned. The Air Force controls the airspace. 40 Polish aircraft, including 15 in air combat, were shot down. Air attacks on enemy marching and railway columns are increasingly thwarting the enemy's planned retreat. On the North Sea coast, English combat aircraft of the most modern design attacked Wilhelmshaven and Cuxhaven, as well as the naval forces located in the river mouths around 6 p.m. The Navy and Air Force's fighter and anti-aircraft defenses were so early and effective that the attack on Cuxhaven was thwarted, while the bombing in Wilhelmshaven caused no damage. More than half of the attacking aircraft were shot down. Wednesday, September 6, 1939. The Wehrmacht High Command reports. The Army's operations in Poland continued as planned on September 5th. Mountain troops and mobile troops fought for the northern exits of the Beskids on a broad front and are in a fluid attack against New Sandes. The forces advancing against Krakow from the south and west have thrown the enemy back on the city. The East Upper Silesian industrial area is in our hands. Further north, the Chesinailo-Pusno-Piorkov line was taken in the early afternoon. A well-developed bunker line was broken on both sides of Sieradz, and the attack continued on the eastern bank of the Warta in the direction of Lodz. The forces that had transferred to the eastern bank of the Vistula at Kulm and Grodens continued the pursuit of the defeated enemy. The troops that advanced from East Prussia via Mlava took Sichinov. The enemy is retreating sharply to the south. Fast troops have reached the Naru near Rozan. 10,000 prisoners and 60 guns are the loot so far of our troops fighting in the north. Yesterday's attacks by the German Luftwaffe again caused severe disruption to enemy traffic lines and rear communications. The Zet-Dunska Wola, Skarżysko, Tarnów, and Wreszyn train stations are burning, and numerous railway lines are interrupted. With the exception of a few fighters, the Polish Air Force no longer appeared at all near Lodz. There were no air raids on German territory anywhere on September 5th. German naval forces destroyed a third Polish submarine in the Baltic Sea. Special report. The German troops entered the city of Krakow in the midday hours of Wednesday without a fight. The commanding general and the division commander paid military honors at Pilsudski's grave. A guard of honor is deployed. The Vistula bridges are not destroyed. Bromberg is taken by German troops. The Netze was crossed to the south in the Bromberg area. On Wednesday at 2 p.m., our troops crossed the Lask-Unjevo road in the direction of Lodz. The important railway and road junction Kielce at the foot of the Lisa Gora was taken over by our troops this morning. Thursday, September 7, 1939. The Wehrmacht High Command reports. The retreat of the Polish army continued yesterday across the entire front. Actively supported by the decisive deployment of the Luftwaffe, the troops of the Eastern Army remained in hot pursuit of the retreating enemy and engaged him in battle at various points. In southern Poland, Neusands was taken and the Dunajec was crossed there and north of it. Our troops occupied the city of Krakow without a fight. Military honors were paid at Marshal Pilsudski's grave. After taking Kielce, our troops are rapidly advancing through the western part of Lisa Gora and are approaching the cities of Tomaszów and Lodz further north. In the north, the Tukeler Heide, northwest of Graudenz, has now been cleared of the scattered remnants of the Polish Corridor Army. The number of captured guns increased to 90. The 9th and 27th Polish Divisions, a Polish tank battalion, 2 hunter battalions, and the Pomorska Cavalry Brigade are destroyed. Only remnants escaped by swimming through the Vistula without weapons or equipment. The military equipment still stuck in the woods will only be identified and recovered in weeks. To the east of the Vistula, the Thorn-Strasburg Road is crossed and a bridgehead is formed over the Dremens. The troops advancing from East Prussia have reached Pultusk on both sides of the Narrow and near Rozan. Yesterday, the Luftwaffe attacked and destroyed the retreating enemy columns in a resounding low-level attack. The attack against railway facilities, stations, and bridges continued, with the Vistula bridges south of Warsaw being badly damaged by bombs. The Warsaw West Station is on fire. Friday, September 8, 1939. The Wehrmacht High Command reports. Yesterday's operations in Poland took on the character of a pursuit in many places. Only in a few places did more serious fighting break out. Our troops are advancing southeastwards towards Gorlicz and eastwards towards Tarnów, toward the Wisłoka. North of the Vistula, mobile forces have reached Stasov, and north of the Lisa Gora, the area just west of Kamienna. The Konski-Opokno railway line was crossed in the attack. North of Tomaszów, tank troops have thrown the enemy out of Rawa Mazowiecka and are standing 60 kilometers from Warsaw. The Drevens has been crossed between Thorn and Strasburg. The crew of the Westerplatte in Danzig surrendered. Their resistance was broken by pioneers, marine assault companies, and the SS Home Guard with the participation of the Schleswig-Holstein. To the northeast of Warsaw, the Narebu is crossed at Pultusk and Rozan. In the province of Poznan, additional areas were occupied in the south and north. The Luftwaffe once again played a decisive role in these rapid and great successes. Its mass deployment was directed against the retreating Polish army. It intervened directly in ground combat with fighter and dive-bombing squadrons. Marching columns were dispersed, retreat routes were blocked by the destruction of bridges and crossings, and attempts at enemy counterattacks were crushed as they were being developed. The Wisła bridges south of Warsaw have been permanently destroyed, and in Warsaw itself, the thoroughfares are filled with columns and blocked. The urgent evacuation of the city is underway. 2 German planes were shot down over Polish territory, and 1 plane is missing. German territory was not attacked yesterday either. A series of minesweeping operations were carried out by the Navy in the North and Baltic Sea. Boats from a minesweeping flotilla shelled a Polish beach battery, which returned fire without success. A 4th Polish submarine was destroyed. Special report. German tank troops have broken enemy resistance on the Tomaszów-Warsaw Road after a short, fierce battle and are rapidly advancing on the Polish capital. The town of Jono was reached in the morning. Special report. German troops entered Warsaw on September 8 at 5:15 p.m. Fast troops have reached the Vistula at Sandomierz in southern Poland and at Góra Kalwaria, southeast of Warsaw.
Join us also next Sunday for the subsequent Wehrmacht reports. In the meantime, you can discover many more military history audiobooks on Major Antonio's YouTube channel. Thank you for listening, and so long.